Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. Joan served the state of California as a member on the Arts Council and on the Film Commission. She was formerly on the Architectural Commission and fulfilled 2 terms on the Fine Arts Commission for the city of Beverly Hills. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, Condé Nast Publications, and the Hearst Corporation, Joan covered the world of fashion, the mysteries of food, the excitement of theater, and the international art scene. She continues to find people who are on the cutting edge of their professions. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Joan Quinn, and I'm here with Shihira Mehrez, who earned a master's degree from the American University in Cairo in the field of Islamic art and architecture. She's here to tell us about Islamic art, but first of all, she invited me into her bath and we decided to shoot in here. Shihira, welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Great. Tell us about how Islamic art is translated into your bathroom.
Well, I have to do this thanks to a very famous person in Egypt and also a bit known in the state called Hassan Fathy, who was an architect who believed in traditional architecture. And he believed that one could have a modern contemporary house but in an Arabic style. And he was a very good friend of mine and he planned this apartment for me. It's an apartment, it's not really a house. And it has what we have in here, a traditional bathroom.
And what is traditional? Because here we are sitting here. Would people come into the bath and sit?
Well, intimates, but I mean the bath had a social role to play. Public baths in Cairo, Damascus, Baghdad were places where people met. They were very luxurious and you went there to, not because you didn't have a bathroom in your house, but because it was a place, it was like playing pool, you know what I mean?
Was it just for women or did
no,
they
there was a day
well?
for women and the rest of the time usually for men.
And married or unmarried?
Whatever, but they met, it was a bit like a club, you know, like the British clubs where men meet to discuss things. So the bath had also this social role. People met there and discussed things and whatever. And in my grandfather's house where I was brought up, we had a huge bathroom. And I went on dreaming about this even long after the house had been demolished. So Hassan Fathy managed this bath as you see it here. It has a place to sit.
And was your father's bathroom in Cairo?
My grandfather's house was in Cairo.
Your grandfather's house.
It had a very large bathroom. It was not as nice as this one, I have to tell you, because it was already a bit of modern architecture. But it was huge, it was in marble. And what we have in here is different because we have a built-in sofa with a kind of mosaic, marble mosaic, which was very traditional from the 12th and 13th century onwards.
Just explain Islamic art and architecture in about 3 minutes.
Well, very difficult. But I have to tell you that Islamic domestic architecture particularly is a very versatile architecture. It's an architecture that is based on a different conception of space. Everything is to human scale and everything has to have a functional use. For example, we're sitting on a built-in sofa. So the architecture and the decoration are built in. My bathtub, as you notice, if I don't know if the camera can follow to show us, the bathtub is sunken in, so I don't need a curtain. When I shower without wetting the whole place. So it is very well conceived in a way.
And tell us about the window.
The window is a stained glass window, and again it's a tradition that sprang about in Islamic art from the 11th and 12th century onwards. It started in Damascus, and from Damascus moved to all the other countries, but it flourished particularly in Cairo.
What are the symbols? Are there symbols involved?
No, usually we have a lot of designs, and the designs for bathrooms are different from designs of rooms, of living rooms. And
so this window
is a simple geometrical one because it's a bathroom.
It would never be in another room of a house.
No, in other rooms you'll have different, much more intricate patterns where you have peacocks and trees and flowers and all very stylized, but all very, very beautiful and very fine. In here it is more, if you want, architectonic. It is meant to give you some light without showing, because on the other side you have another apartment.
I see.
So it gives me some light, but at the same time it shields the place. And the same thing for the water basin. I don't know if it can be shown also, but they are cast in marble, so that actually when you wash your hands you splash around. The flooring is usually in marble, and we even had you know, the little taps. Can you see the little tap in brass, which are old taps, showing you a bit more.
And the transfers to, say, the design here as well?
The designs are basically geometrical patterns. And the marble flooring, as well as marble, the doors, I mean, covering for the walls existed throughout Islamic architecture was very much favored. Because you know, we're a hot country. It's a country where people love water, where you have to shower and bathe several times a day in summer, and where it's always very practical to wash the floor to cool the atmosphere. We also had fountains in the middle of our living rooms to cool the atmosphere before the advent of air conditioning.
Oh, so there's lots of water involved.
Exactly, lots and lots of water. And as I said, the bathroom was a place where people could sit down. I mean, if you're friends, you'd be there while I'm doing my nails or while I'm having my hair combed or whatever. So this is why you have all this furniture.
Now, is Islamic have to do with religion?
No, it's Islamic in terms of culture.
Not religion?
No. Not, I mean, Islamic participated to Islamic culture, Christians as well as Jews. I mean,
is that
we had
right?
viziers of the Fatimid period that were Christian. Some of our Fatimid viziers had mothers that were Christian. So Islam was a very tolerant religion, and it allowed people to keep their religion irrespective of them. So Islamic culture is in a general term to explain the drive that has pushed out or has created the creative drive.
I see. Then this was from a certain period.
These are also 18th century and 19th century, and this one is practically a trader's chest because it has the slits in here. You can see the slits where traders put their money in. So without opening the door, you put
carry it with you.
Exactly. So you put it there so that no one sees. It's not a cash box that you open and people see how much money you have in. And part of the things in the bathrooms were also the bath soles. These were wooden bath soles, but they said that when a girl was old enough to be able to use this, she was capable of getting married.
So she could have been 8 years old?
No, not 8 years old, she would not be able to use these.
She has to stand on them?
She has to stand, there was a strap, of course. I mean,
They're like high heel shoes?
They're high heel shoes. Because the marble flooring of the bathroom meant that you would not, you would be coming out of your bath wet. And of course it was disagreeable to walk on the marble, so you used wooden soles.
But you have some carved, some inlaid. Show the carved.
Traditionally they were inlaid with mother of pearl and bone. But some of them were also carved, like the one you see.
This actually does look like the heel of a shoe.
Of course it does. They were bath soles. They were meant for people to. It's very practical, I have to tell you, and it's very healthy. I use them myself in a modern version, not as pristine, but I found that I can't. Coming out of my bath, I don't want to wear leather, and of course it's much more pleasant to wear the wood than anything else.
The idea of the hand carving and doing so much ornamentation, yes.
Well, this is something very much also in our culture. It was a culture where things were always decorated. Everyday use objects, if you were wealthy enough, were always decorated. Some, of course, of these were plain, like this one.
So this would be from a different...
Yes, probably less rich people. But people always decorated their everyday use things, and this is why some of our artists have become artists in crafts.
What about what I'm wearing?
Well, you're wearing a dress from the waist of Bahariya, which is in Middle Egypt. Remember, last time we talked about Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt?
Tell us
There's
again.
something called Middle Egypt. Upper Egypt is the place to the southernmost of Egypt, and it's where it's closer to the sources of the Nile, if you want to say it so, because we're still a long way from the sources of the Nile deep in Africa. But it is the southern part of Egypt, while the delta is at the north.
And that's
Middle
Lower
Egypt is halfway
Egypt.
in between.
Middle Egypt, and this is from Middle Egypt.
This is from one of the oases.
And an oasis is an area
An area where you have water source springing in the middle of the desert, and therefore people plant and can have a very, very rich agriculture in the middle of the desert.
Is there really water there, or is it a figment of the imagination?
It's really water. You can bathe and you eat the fruits and you can enjoy all of the pleasures of very, very fertile agriculture.
But so this would be something from Middle Egypt.
Yes, this is not really Middle Egypt, it's an oasis in Middle Egypt.
Oh, in Middle Egypt, I see. And what is so distinct about this?
Well, it's all embroidered, this is all hand embroidered if you notice, and it takes of course a very long time for women to do these.
Are these fabric?
This is cotton.
Dyed? Is it dyed from the
Hand-dyed
area?
usually, yes, hand-dyed and hand-embroidered.
What would they use to dye these cottons?
Well, they used to have a lot of varieties of dyes. Even from the early 20th century, there were already chemical dyes.
Oh, they did use chemical dyes
They
at
did
this
use
time?
chemical dyes, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think
Not
that
all
they
were
would be-
natural, no. Some, but In the 19th century, of course, they were natural, but starting with the 20th century, we have a lot of chemical
Tell me
dyes.
about that.
And this is a necklace of the Western Desert. It's very typical, not only of Egypt, but all of the Mediterranean coast, Libya, Tunis, Algeria, Morocco.
The hand.
The hand of Fatma, yes, of course.
What
It's
is
against
that?
the evil eye. It's a hand with 5 fingers, because 5 is the word, the number that, in a way, stops evil eye. So you have a hand of Fatma, you're guarded from the evil eye.
And the way this is ornamented?
Well, this is typical of this oasis. We don't know the reason why. Why does particularly this shape, we don't know.
Would a married woman or a single woman?
Usually
wear
married women, because they got married very young, 13, 14, 15.
Ah, they did.
Not now anymore, but I mean the old days, that's how it used to be. But this oasis, in particular, the use of coins. If you notice what is glittering on your dress is not simply the necklace, it's also the coins interspersed of the embroidery.
And tell me a little bit about the embroidery on you.
This
today.
you've seen already, Siwa embroidery. And
Oh,
this again is a
Siwa.
modern coat that is, how do you say, embroidered with traditional embroidery. But this is done on the spot. I mean, it's a modern costume. It's something ethnic dress like this one. It's a modern costume, but we send it to be embroidered in Siwa and get it back.
Do you wear these dresses all
the
day?
time,
Do
all
you?
the time.
So you are in totally dressed
Yes.
Egyptian style.
Exactly. Yes, I believe that since we have these dresses, I don't see why I should be copying a woman in Paris or a woman in London.
But I think the people in Paris and London copy these designs
Yes,
in
a lot.
pink and tan,
I'm
don't you?
wearing a Liberty scarf that I think is it's a paisley motif, and it's drawing on all the Far East and Middle East traditions.
And it looks like it
And it
belongs
looks,
with...
people still think, well, even when I'm wearing it, they still think it is something that is maybe old and coming from India, Pakistan, Egypt, Syria, etc.
When you come into the bath, I noticed the lanterns. Would you use lanterns with...
Well, I use the
candles?
candle just for pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is, but of course for daily use we use electricity. But it's a very nice lighting.
Well, next time I'm going to come back and I'm going to watch you do your nails. And I'll help you brush your hair. And we can have a more intimate time in your bathroom. Shihira Mehrez, say it for me.
Shihira Mehrez.
Mehrez. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And shukra.
Thank you.
Thank you, and we'll see you next time. I'm right across the street from the Egyptian Museum and the Pharaoh's Palace perfumes. And I have with me Dr. Mohammed Hussein. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
And I'm just a stone's throw from the Semiramis Hotel. I walked over, as a matter of fact. Do you know the hotel?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Just not far from here.
Right on the Nile.
That's right. Nice view.
Yeah, very nice view. This is one of the things about Egypt, I think, the essences. Can you tell me a little bit about how the essence is made and why it's so important?
It's made out of the petals of the flowers, like what you see in front of you, like the rose, for example. You just, what we do, we pick the flowers by hand to keep it intact.
Is that right?
Yeah. Then we press the petals of the flower by wood machine.
Ah, just whole like that?
The petals.
The petals, but,
Yes.
but not, you don't pull them apart.
No, 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 no. The others, some of it, it's made by incense. The leaves.
I see. Oh, the leaves make the incense.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So the petals, we press it, so we get the essence, the extract. This essence, we distill it.
Mm-hmm.
After we distill it, some of those used to make some of the French perfumes and the most popular perfumes.
But do you use all of these? Would you use the gladiolas? Would you use all of these flowers?
Some of them we use. Some of them they are what we call it malnutrition. They are not enough with the essence.
They don't have smell to them?
No.
What about these?
This is something we call it lily of the Nile. Lily of the Nile. It's one of the most famous flower, and they make it like beads. They put it around to smelling, or they give it also in a wedding, like the cars or these things.
This is the best
Yes,
smell.
It's lovely.
Now where do where are the flowers grown?
In about southwest of Cairo, it's about 100 kilometers. We press the flowers and we take the essence.
But do you just grow fields of roses or
No, different
lily?
flowers like
All
rose, jasmine, lavender, gardenia, lily of the valley, narcissus. Different flowers.
And they're all in the same area?
Same, but some of them in houses, some of them out houses.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because of the climate.
What? Oh, you under greenhouses, you
That's
mean?
right.
What period of the year do you pick the flowers?
We have 2 harvests a year. We harvest the flower twice a year to get this essence. But the essence...
What time of year is that?
It's March and October. After this, we get this essence, as you see here, just to give you an idea, like this essence. When we press it, it comes drop by drop.
This is pure oil then, right now.
Yes.
And
then you could wear it as it is.
just like that.
Just 1 drop. It stays all the day. Because it has nothing to evaporate. There is no alcohol.
What is this?
This is the extract of a famous essence. It's like jasmine.
Oh, let's try this.
Yeah.
So this stopper is just a little...
That's it. You just put 1 drop. It lasts all the
And
day.
it's just like pure oil.
Yes.
Pure oil. Then
This, we distill it, then we export it, some of it. Some of them we sell it here. And it's one of the most famous essences.
you sell the oil here,
Right, as it is.
just like that, no alcohol, nothing.
No.
When you export it to, say, France,
They
what do
dilute
they
it.
start?
They dilute it with alcohol.
And tell me the ways that things are diluted, because we were talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
1 to 9, that's for perfume. Like 1 part essence to 9 part alcohol, that's for making perfume. And 1 to 20, it's cologne. And also there is some distilled water and some alcohol used for eau de toilette.
So they can mix that together?
Exactly, it's a blending.
And what happens to the oil? Does it lose its essence
Never.
when they put...
Never.
So when they put alcohol with it, it doesn't lose
No,
its
with
essence?
alcohol, that's why you find difficult to smell it in the end, because the amount of the alcohol you put, it evaporates. Then the amount of the essence is still. That's why you find difficult to smell it in the end.
So it just kind of goes away with
And
it?
sometimes they add fixative, like amber or musk, to make the smell last longer.
I see. Would you do that, or would they
No,
do that?
no, the perfume maker. We don't do that. This is about the essence business, about the use of it. It's, as you know, it's very, why people prefer it nowadays, because it's a raw material and it has no side effects and natural. And many people, it's coming now treating many diseases.
Is that right?
Yeah.
This kind of oil?
Yeah, like headache.
What would you prescribe for headache?
Like amber oil. You know, like used for a bath oil. You know,
And you would put it
aromatherapy.
in- Yes, aromatherapy.
It's
Does
coming
it start
very
here?
popular, yes. Because this Egypt is the land of the essence. If you know, it's about 5,000-6,000 years ago, it was existing the papyrus itself, which shows all this, like the hunting, like the judgment. all
Oh,
this.
in the papyrus, the pictures?
They represent the essence, and it was very popular for King Tut.
Is that right?
Yeah,
What
that's
was
it.
in King Tut's tomb, do you think?
Well, it's invisible and full of secrets, as you know.
We don't have any secret King Tut things here?
Not really.
Essences?
No. We could. What we do, we blend some essence. We choose a name for it, just
I
for the
see.
market.
Oh, do you have a name for
Yeah,
that?
we have like here in the list number 15. Number 15 here. Tutankhamun. That's
Tutankhamun.
So we
and
do
where
have-
is it? Is it here?
This is here, one of the most famous essence. It's for men.
These bottles are fabulous. Where are the bottles made?
They are made here in Egypt.
All of these bottles are...
Yeah, in many factories in Cairo, and it's one of the new business. It's only about 10, 11 years in the market, and it's coming very, very popular because it's a blowing glass, hand blowing, and it's made from Pyrex, which stands the heat.
It stands the heat, but they're very fragile. How can
Not-
we get these in the United States?
No, not really, not the way people think. We have special boxes for it. We even export to many places in Europe and this and this and this.
Let me smell this King Tut. Has a little bit of lemon.
Yes, citrus man.
Citrus, very good.
This is one of the most famous essence for Tutankhamun.
One of the things that people are always concerned about is where to put the perfume, where to put the essence. What do you suggest?
Behind the ears.
Behind the ear. That's the only place?
No, some people they do it the way they want, but sometimes it's behind the ears or just under the wrist, or even they leave it in the closet. So the smells just goes around.
But if you leave this open in the closet, will the oil,
yes,
it will?
Yes, but it evaporates in a degree you cannot mention it. That's why it's invisible evaporation. Because it's a liquid, it has to evaporate.
Right.
But for a degree you cannot mention it.
You can't measure it.
No, no, no. It's that's why it lasts very, very long.
You are Dr. Mohammed Hussein. What is the doctor?
I am a physiotherapist.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
And do you use aromatherapy?
I used to, and now I'm concentrating in export and import and selling all these essence and the bottles. They are very gorgeous.
They're very beautiful.
Yeah.
How did you get into this business?
Fate.
Fate?
Yeah, I just love it. I like it. I like dealing with different people, different nationality.
In this export, in this part of it, but what about the families that are involved in Essence? I think
There are
you
about
said
7 families. They do the same kind of business.
all over Egypt?
Yes, and we all know each other, help each other.
So
As you know.
actually your family then has been in it for a long time.
Yeah, yeah, because they know all each other.
And do they own the land? Is that how they started?
Many people owns different land, and this is how they start the business.
Do people grow these flowers for you? And you go
We
and buy
have
them?
some
You
people
have growers?
grow, and we buy it from them because they have more experience or they are in a better condition. And
Oh,
it's
you
one-
can pick them. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
picking grapes for wine.
Yeah, like
isn't it?
like France, they import the Bulgarian rose, and
Uh-huh.
they never say we import Bulgarian rose. It's the best rose all over the world. It's a Bulgarian rose.
I see.
Lavender essence. It's the best essence in England.
I see.
So
But
they
it
grow.
all they grow it
They
in
grow
England.
it in south of France even.
I
But
see.
it's not enough. So they import from England and from Bulgaria the rose. That's one of the interesting business.
So tell me one other thing about how you got the name Pharaoh's Palace. Do I feel like I'm in a palace here?
It is a palace. It is a palace. And the Pharaoh's name, we choose it because the store, it's one of the oldest store in Cairo, and it just lies right across from the Egyptian antiquity.
And that is
So we
filled.
find the name, it's just Pharaohs.
It is.
And we are Pharaohs. Grandparents, we are Pharaohs.
That is really interesting. And was the wood in here and the inlay and all of the decor brought in?
Yeah.
Is it
And
old?
It's very old. It's a handcraft work. Mother of pearl and ivory. And as you see, sorry, the ceiling.
Ceiling. What style do you call this?
This is the Islamic style. The Mamluk and before the Mamluk.
The geometric?
Yes. This is symmetry. It's all symmetry. It represents the Islamic old architect, which is one of the most famous architect all over the world. Is the Islamic architect.
Well, Doctor.
It's our
Doctor.
pleasure, and we don't want you to leave.
Thank you very much, and thank you for being
Thank
so
you.
wonderful.
Thank you very, very much.
And I'm having another exciting time in Cairo. This is really fabulous. Thanks.
Thanks very much.
See you next time.